The funeral is a major event.
He planning a funeral. My man is planning a bloody funeral already. The nigga ain't even dead yet. He's planning funeral arrangements.
Damn.
See, this is why Jasiri came back. This is why Jasiri was like, you are not allowed to have this show without me being present. Literally flew in.
Those are all inappropriate sound drops, Farouk.
Literally flew in for this episode.
Yeah,
flew in for this episode.
I did, okay.
Just because of this.
So, so first of all, welcome to this week of White Supremacy. I'm Jasiri X, co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. This was going to be the first show that I was not on. I was on the West Coast. I was going to stay out there. I was going to let the esteemed team take over. But then a world-changing incident happened, and I was like, all right, I got to come back. And
so you will not make the FBI list on my watch.
So anyway, but, let's introduce ourselves, and then we'll get into... For those that don't know, this is a comedy show. We get serious, we talk about politics, but we come with the jokes. So if you don't want jokes, change the channel right now. Because today,
they coming out hot.
We got jokes.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of things we are, and serious is not one of them.
We're not going to be serious. But to my immediate right,
it's a miracle.
See, this is why they have roofs. I did not tell you to play it twice.
Oh, what? Wait, Miracle.
I didn't hear you.
Twice.
This is why they have roofs?
Roofs?
Is that what you said?
I said, why are they supposed to play it twice? You don't hear,
this is why they have roofs? Is what you said, Miracle?
What does a roof have to do with anything? I don't get it.
You obviously you don't know what just happened.
They have roofs?
Yes, a man was on the roof.
Oh,
yes.
That went over my head.
Yes. Oh, yes.
He don't like to listen. God.
Wow.
Shit.
At that point, it's fine. Can you do it twice?
I did it. I just did it again. Introduce yourself, innit?
Yes. Oh, wow. Hi, Miracle.
Now, my name is Miracle, for y'all don't know, aka Big Blessing with the Big Blessing.
Yes.
Listen.
The main attraction.
Yes.
And Miracle, we can't wait to hear from you about the Democrats' response.
Because, oh my God, violence is never appropriate. Reject violence.
Reject violence. My brother.
It's your boy Trouble in the Last Never Like Supremacy.
Yes.
Apparently niggas listen selectively.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Next level shaman.
Sir.
Oh man. Full-time supervillain, part-time hater. I'm happy to be here today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm turned the fuck up.
I mean,
we see.
Yes. I mean, and to be honest, and so, but
he didn't get shot though, and I feel like
yes,
right.
But niggas did get shot.
He got shot at.
He got
did
shot
not
at.
Get shot.
But other people there got shot.
Yeah, and actually and killed. Ironically, somebody that Trump hasn't even spoken to, which is another crazy thing. Trump hasn't even reached out to this man's family yet. I mean, but again, Trump. It just shows you like how he doesn't really care. About the people.
He's a megalomaniac.
That, lift him up and love him and make him this sort of Messiah.
He's literally standing on their bodies.
Right. But I mean, and so I don't. Do you want to? Play the clip. We'll play the clip of. And for other context, Butler, Pennsylvania is right outside of Pittsburgh.
How far?
Where we record from.
How far north is it?
Over an hour.
It's an hour?
Yeah, I would say Butler's not close.
Yeah. But they brought Trump to Pittsburgh.
He came to Pittsburgh hospital.
To go to the hospital, right. So we're close enough. We know where Butler, PA is. We're familiar with Bethel Park, where the shooter was from. And so this does have a Pittsburgh kind of relation to it. So Trump has been here a lot.
Yeah.
And outside of Pittsburgh and Philly, for those that don't know, the joke is people call it Pennsyltucky, right?
Yeah, there's Pittsburgh on one side, Philadelphia in the middle, on the other side, and Klans in the middle.
And or Alabama, whatever. And so that's often the joke that the middle or outside of these cities, you have these strong, white supremacist leaning folks. It's Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania has the second most guns behind Texas of any state in the United States. A lot of people don't know that, right? That it is a very prevalent culture of guns and hunting in Pennsylvania as well. And so all of that, but this is, of course, something that Trump and the Republican parties have been, championing.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see. We haven't heard from Trump in terms of what his RNC speech will say, but here was Trump at the rally in Pennsylvania.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
All right, so you can pause that. I'll get first reactions. I initially did not know. I'm thinking it wasn't real, to be honest. I didn't know if this was firecrackers, whatever this was. It did turn out that, and Miracle was right, Trump was shot at. And supposedly he got cut by a bullet hitting the teleprompter and then the glass coming up and kind of cutting his face. You know what I'm saying? And I guess particularly I was wondering if it was real just because of Trump's reaction. Because his reaction was very, he put his fist up, the way he did his reaction kind of made me think, is this real? But whether it's real or not,
it happened.
Here we are. So where were you when you got the news? They took a shot at Trump.
I couldn't believe what I was reading. And then when I watched it, I thought, first off, it was like, the distance and what caliber rifle was that? Because it didn't sound like a high caliber rifle.
It did not.
And I was like, what is he? And then when Trump put his hand up by his ear, he was like, what's this bullshit? Like, it just seemed like arrogance to me. Like he was like, oh yeah, these niggas shooting at me like it's a BB gun or something like that, like a paintball gun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It didn't seem like, I was just like, wow, this is actually happening. Like this guy really is either has a grade A like stunt team,
right,
or people really don't like him, or maybe it's a combination of both.
Right, and it did because of the sound. I did also think like, was this a real gun?
Yeah.
Is this some type of airsoft thing?
But someone in the audience got killed, right?
Yes, it was a real gun. Corey, I'm bad with the names. Comparator, was killed. Okay. He was a firefighter. He was there. And he was killed shielding his family from the bullet. So he was killed, like protecting his family. And so we do definitely want to say, rest in peace to that man. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of his political affiliations, we don't want to see somebody shot down. You know what I'm saying? Just because you wanted to go see a Trump rally. You know what I'm saying? Miracle, your reaction?
So where was it? So it was very interesting.
Okay.
The news broke while I was talking to my friend who happens to be a Black Palestinian, and we were talking just about a presentation we had just witnessed about the erasure of the reality of violence. I've probably held a gun like maybe 4 or 5 times in my whole entire life. It's just like it's just not for me. So to hear people talk about the way the gun, like a couple of my friends like broke it down, like this is the type of gun he's using because a bullet goes like, or I was it was just weird to me, like how people could just like listen to a clip and could just hear what bullets sound like, and could talk about what bullets were being used even before the FBI had made their statement. So that to me was weird. then like I was still lost. This happened in Butler County.
Yeah.
Like this is Trump country. I think
Yes.
Trump won that like plus 17.
Yes.
Like this is not a liberal leftist haven. This is essentially like a sundown town. So it was weird. And then we started talking about, okay, this doesn't make sense. Then it was like, well, Reagan was shot as well. And Reagan was also up in the primary and winning when he was shot. And so we were just trying to like have a conversation about all the presidential candidates who were harmed and shot like in American history. And like, what does this mean? And then of course, before people were announced that they were unalived, jokes did fly because
Yes.
it's like, that's how you process sometimes like trauma. And it's like,
Absolutely.
but then it's also, I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead, but for me, it's like, I don't understand people talking about this kind of violence is unacceptable. Political violence is unacceptable.
Yes.
While at the same time using politics to cause chaos and violence in so many people's lives.
Yes.
So like it was just a lot happening that I was processing at the same time.
Again, and you're absolutely right. You are kind of jumping ahead a little bit. So definitely we're gonna get into that, the responses, which again, you know, like you said, we live in America. Like America is, I mean, particularly if you're black, brown, indigenous, America's violent. You know what I'm saying? This is America in the roots and birthing of America is extreme violence. In America, building power and holding on to power is extreme violence. And so sometimes that violence does, you know, come back around. I think you did make a great point about like Butler County being Trump country, which is why he's there, and maybe why it seemed like security was lax. Because like he's in Butler County, he wasn't
He's with his own kind.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't in Pittsburgh. He wasn't in a place that he would face any type of like counter protest or anything like that going on. He was in Butler County, this place he was very comfortable being in. And it looked like in hindsight, maybe too comfortable as well. Trouble, what'd you think?
Man, this was my birthday.
Oh shit.
That is right.
Damn, this nigga was cutting cake.
I'm on the beach somewhere,
Oh, okay.
and I get the notification on my phone, and I look, and I'm just like, damn. Anyways,
He was like, anyways, pass
facts.
the ox. Let me throw on some.
real shit. So it's like my reaction at first was pretty laxed, especially when I saw that like he didn't actually get shot.
Yes.
And this was before I learned that people died.
Yes.
I just saw the headline of like shooting at Trump rally. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Was this chickens coming home to roost?
So I think a lot of
That's-
people talked about that.
That was the thing that happened in my head. It played the Malcolm X quote
Right.
around John F. Kennedy.
Well, I mean, you're talking about, you know, Donald Trump, who, you know, came out and basically said, even to the point of like, I don't want to have gun laws that limit guns around school zones.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, so he's been very open about he wants everybody to have a gun. They don't want any restrictions on people having a gun. And remember, this is an AR-15. We later learned that was the rifle the gunman used.
When they put his photo out, I was like, and this is no funny. It's funny, but it's no funny. He looked more like a school shooter than a presidential shooter.
1,000%. And supposedly he was bullied, whatever. But also,
really?
Yeah. But,
well,
but
there you
also
go.
he was a registered Republican. And
Really?
so, yeah, absolutely.
See, I don't know anything about this man.
They said he was registered Republican. They said his mom was a registered Democrat. His dad was a libertarian. You know what I'm saying? 20 years old.
So he just graduated secondary
graduated. And so again, like, but if you remember the AR-15 was, you know, the Democratic Party and folks were trying to ban that gun. And the Republicans wanted that gun. So you wanted this gun. You wanted this place where anybody could have a gun and do anything. You're telling us that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
And you had Secret Service and all these people, and they couldn't stop, you know, the president from being harmed from a shooting. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, the ramifications is, you know, Trump having this iconic image of him with blood on him, with his fist in the air, in front of the American flag. And then the thinking starts to say, is this election a wrap? Because then, to what you're saying, Miracle, then was all of the responses, right?
Yeah.
And to me, they look like everybody just like all the Democrats like sent a mass email and was like paste this same commentary. Also, to me, like the putting political. It wasn't like violence is bad.
Political violence.
Because
the prefix.
You can't be an American and say violence is bad because it wouldn't be an America without violence. You know what I'm saying? So like it was political violence. So it's almost like a politician or politician saying, yo, violence is cool except on us. Like now when
we're non-combatants.
Yeah, like no, when you try to be violent towards me, now I got a problem. Although to be a president means to direct violence across the world every day, mostly on people that are black and brown.
Miracle?
That part. See, I have an op-ed coming out about this.
Okay,
I'm excited about that.
But to me, every day politicians go to work, they create violence.
Yes.
Kicking people out of their homes is violence.
Yes.
Denying people medical care is violence.
Yes.
Not allowing people to access clean water, clean energy, making kids go to school with lead in the paint and in the school systems is violence. And so I thought it was very interesting. A lot of people said political violence, but even Barack Obama was like this kind of violence. You know, we can't tolerate. And it's like, but why do we have to tolerate violence? Why do we have to be in a society where we expect violence, where we support violence, where we almost demand violence?
True.
Why in the world can we not sit there and say we need and we deserve something differently? Because the Supreme Court just ruled on like the bump stock. Is that how you say it? That said that like you can't outlaw that. So we're gonna have more people with these AR-15s that can reload even more bullets in the future because the Supreme Court just said you can't outlaw that, which to me is violence. And so I was sitting there looking at all of these statements, and I will take Palestine out of it, that a lot of these leaders who are so-called saying they're so upset about violence haven't really done anything to make sure people are able to live. They haven't made sure that people are able to be housed. People are able to have food. People are able to have shelter. People are able to live past, to even get Social Security. We don't plan for life. We don't have cities that are walkable and livable. So to me, it was just like laughable, and it was like you said, like these politicians were saying you can kill each other. Like we can kill you, we can kill each other, but y'all come for us. Like
it's very Hunger Games-esque.
Stop.
It's And when I seen Trump stand up afterwards and he did his celebratory thing, right? It immediately made me think about Ronald Reagan when after he had got shot. And someone popped the balloons at the press conference, and he was like, haha, miss me. And I was like, oh, like, I've been saying on here, Trump is Reagan 2.0. Like, I've been saying this. They are virtually the same candidate. Trump is just a lot more vulgar than Reagan ever was because, I mean, there was a time period.
I do also have a perception that this in the long run is going to hurt Trump because Trump was like Teflon Don. He was this force that couldn't be reckoned with. But now he's able to be convicted. He has to have a Supreme Court come and save him. He now has, this 20-year-old kid can like almost take him out. He's not this tough alpha man that can protect us.
They tried to give me the virus.
That everyone has been lifting up. And remember how he was talking about McCain, and it was like only losers get caught.
I forgot all about. He said that.
This thing, like,
the suckers and losers. Like he didn't want to go to the cemetery because he was like, oh, those are the people that got killed. Yeah, they're losers. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I do think that in the long run, when we're having this like hyper masculine conversation, that this is going to start to.
You think that's why he got up and was like, wait,
like fight, for that, and because it's starting to make him look weak. Like the glass house is cracking a little bit. And so I do think that his base is going to, like right now they're in this resurgence. But I do think eventually it's going to fade away because like your king is now showing his weakness.
Well, and by his base, we mean primarily a lot of people that are maybe legitimately crazy because like right after the shooting, obviously his base went into a conspiratory overdrive. This was a interview that was done right after the shooting of somebody. This is a Trump supporter.
What's my reaction? It's Barack Obama. It's Barack Obama. That's my reaction. It's Obama.
Okay, so
What the hell does Obama have to do with it? He hasn't been president forever.
He's not even. But remember, it was Trump who introduced Trump's whole thing. Remember that whole part of the campaign where it was like, Obama is running this. It's not Joe Biden that's in charge. It's Barack Obama that's in charge. And it's kind of like the Obamas that's running it. And then again, like Barack went on a roof, like to, come on, again. I mean, because the reality is, like a Donald Trump presidency.
Like Deadshot from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like what? Barack Obama is not going to be harmed by a Trump presidency.
No.
He's a multi-millionaire. He has power. This man can live anywhere he wants in the world.
He has Secret Service for the rest of his life. He's good.
He's totally fine. So that is weird. And then a sitting congressman, I forget the man's name, a sitting congressman was like, go arrest Biden right now. Go arrest Biden? Like, what? Exactly.
Because Biden's son got a gun charge. That's why.
Well, again, and that's
Biden
why it was.
Can't even hold a gun right now.
The kickback would kill him.
Now Biden got to go to the gun range just because Trump would have called him out.
It would have been a murder-suicide.
Facts.
That is crazy.
I think it's funny how people like go arrest Biden.
Yes.
When just the other week they forgot the Supreme Court said
The president can do whatever he want to do. Biden could have caught that body and it wouldn't even matter.
Again, is there a point? I guess is a question. I'm coming to you, Miracle, because, you know, the Democrats had begun to focus their energy around how bad Trump is. And this is something that, and the reason you talked about this a lot, that the message from Democrats can't just be how bad Trump is, but that seemed to be the message that Trump was an existential threat and all of these things. And so when Trump gets shot at, you know, the Republicans were able to say, well, you all have this whole campaign talking about how bad Trump is, how much is a threat to the democracy. Is that out of bounds for Democrats to be saying? And, you know,
I'm a lot of things, but above most of them, I'm a woman. And as a woman, I love being right. And I love having the ability to be like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. The fact of the matter is the Democrats do not have any policy slogans that are encouraging people to come out and vote. And this one person was like, I guess they're going to cancel the mailers now because the mailer is like, get the job done. Right.
Oh, shit.
And so somebody was like, you can't even use your mailer or your slogan now because it could be seen like as a dog whistle or a call to violence.
Yeah.
Which is why last episode when you said we won't but we will is probably a better slogan because it unites people and it gives people a vision. You have to politics one-on-one, let people know what you're against, but more so give
the job done is great.
A reason to vote for you. What are you voting for? What are you fighting for? What are you believing for? What you are envisioning for? What are you working towards? That is what mobilizes people to get out and vote. If you look at the Georgia Senate race, you know, the effortless optimism, it wasn't because Warnock was such a nice guy. It's that, particularly for Democrat and younger voters, they get engaged and mobilized by having visionary politics. When you waver or when you try to be mean, that fear-mongering only works on conservatives and particularly people who are doing prosecutorial work. That is not what the Democrats seem to be running on. And so focusing on Trump isn't going to help people. Trump and Project 2025 and Republicans have horrible policies, but Democrats can't even point out their policies because they don't even have their own policies to counteract that. We know that recently J.D. Vance was selected as the vice president, and he has said that like women should be put on a roster, like not on a roster, but women should be like your cycles to be in a government database to make sure that you're able to have children, to make sure you're not having an abortion, to make sure that you're able to like ovulate.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Craziness, right? But when have Democrats come out and said they're going to have a digital privacy bill, or they're fighting for the right to privacy, right? So these are the things we know, like these horrible Project 2025 plans, we still don't know, outside of like not being the people who are going to enact 2025, what Democrat strategies are for 2025, 2026.
Right. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I was right.
But
Releasing on Trump doesn't make sense. People need to galvanize and mobilize and do more. But when you cannot unite your base because you want to have people who won't even take your phone call vote for you, this is the identity crisis you'll find yourself in.
One of the things that was said, and one of the things that the Democrats did was they stopped all of the commercials, immediately after it, like you said, because a lot of the commercials were about how bad of how the potential threat of a Trump presidency, which is true. You know what I'm saying? And, also true is the Republicans have used, so much. Republicans got commercials where they blowing up. It was a commercial
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
where it was like, if they try to take our guns, we're going to use a Second Amendment solution. This was something that Trump said when he was running against Hillary Clinton. Republicans always use this, we got our guns, right? Yeah. And we're gonna, we're gonna take you out, this kind of terminology. So it is fascinating to see it kind of almost being flipped. But, according to Axios, they did a story about now Biden's candidacy. They said a senior House Democrat said, quote, "We've all resigned ourselves to a second Trump presidency." Is this where we are right now? Because if the Democrats were already, remember, we're coming off of Biden calling the Ukrainian President Zelensky President Putin. We're coming off of Biden doing this press conference that was like, I'm going to show you I can answer all these questions, and calling Kamala Vice President Trump, right?
Yeah.
And again, these were small slip-ups, but because you're 81 and your debate was so bad and the questions are on your mental acuity, any slip-up looks bad. Is this, are we done for at this point? Trouble?
So, of the responses that I've seen, I haven't seen any of the official Democratic responses. I live on the meme side of the internet, and some of the memes that I've seen are kind of concerning because it's, there's a lot of younger people going to the polls these days. People born in 2006 are now old enough to vote.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of their take is Trump got ops now. And because Trump got ops now,
like me,
he a real nigga for real.
Really?
Yes. And that excites them. They're like, oh, I fuck with Trump now. He's, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think those people saying that does Trump being shot at now make his relatability to black voters stronger.
It's not just people. Forbes magazine put out a headline that said, now they end up taking the article down because people highlighted it. Quote, "Will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters?" What if
tonight when he comes out, or tomorrow when he comes out for the RNC, he comes out that they shooting?
Or he comes out, people were saying he's going to come out to many men. Or if he's like, my black people tell me because I got shot at, you know what I'm saying? Now that makes me a real nigga.
If he said that shit,
I do think
if he said, okay, let me ask you. If he said that, would you be surprised?
Not at all.
Not at all. When people responded with no issue, it's a thing.
Because when you push the commonality of blackness as criminality, that is what you get.
This is your equilibrium for the right.
But Trouble, you're saying younger black people are pushing that narrative now as well.
Yeah, and I don't think that I think beyond people thinking he's more relatable to black people, what Trump is doing right now is he's a lot more exciting to watch than a Joe Biden.
I mean, he's getting shot at. I mean, it's kind of
like, you know what I mean?
When you think about the people who are like digesting media right now, they're seeing more about Trump than they are about Biden. Yes. So like when they go to the polls, they don't have any real reason to think like, why should I vote for Biden?
It's more day-to-day shit. Like, we know people who got charges. We know people who get shot at. You know what I mean? Like,
you're saying no?
No, it's not that he's more relatable. It's that he's more present. Yeah, because he's outside more.
He is.
That is the thing.
His problem is he was outside.
The problem is he's outside because Biden is protected.
He's like, I'm outside. What's up?
Only doing these rallies with people who are his base that you have to sign up for. You have to get pre-approved for. He's not doing these open events, right? Everything is strategic. Even the pop-ups are pre-planned and usually strategic.
Yes.
Trump is outside. He is talking to media all the time, no matter what. He's not pre-screening questions. He's on the radio.
True.
I am going to say something that's going to make everybody upset.
Okay.
Butler happened on Saturday. Yeah. On Sunday, who was in Butler shaking hands, visiting people?
Who?
Shapiro. Who was the first to talk about violence and rhetoric, and I've been calling out this rhetoric. Shapiro, who is the number one
and she's right
candidate who has had the most votes, even higher than Trump in Pennsylvania.
Shapiro.
I know people don't like it. I know we don't get along on vouchers and Palestine.
We did get a long email about your...
I know that he and I personally have disagreements.
Yes.
But at this time, I really need Shapiro.
He's the man to run.
Be the man.
Yes.
And he has taken on Trump.
What?
Hold on, wait. Let me cook right quick.
Cut.
He has taken on Trump. He has taken on every single Trump ally in Pennsylvania.
True.
He has won in court. He has won in public opinion. He has out-canvassed, outsourced, outraised, is the most qualified candidate, and almost the most untouchable candidate. He doesn't have the scandals. He has rebranded all of the pain and hurt he's ever done, whether it's criminal justice reform, where Kamala hasn't, whether it's educational stuff, even with the vouchers. He went here, did the most investment in public education.
Yes.
He got a livable working budget in Pennsylvania in record time. He has the bipartisan buy-in. I think when we're talking about giving up this election, it is going to be a travesty if Biden stays in, because even in the interviews he has done since, Biden is not electrifying.
No,
he is not uniting the people.
He might need electricity.
But you know who has rappers at their inauguration?
Trump, but Trump.
No.
Shapiro did. Shapiro.
You know who has actually passed policies that have helped rappers? Shapiro.
Yeah.
Do you know whose policies have actually helped people who are black and brown? Shapiro. Do you know who has kids, who is more relevant, who knows how to use social media, who people actually like, who has a little bit of drip? It's Shapiro.
Well, sound like Miracle just left MAGA for Shapiro.
Listen, I know people don't believe
W9s,
but who also could lead with the delegate vote is Pennsylvania.
I do,
and Shapiro, and I know that people want Kamala. I don't think she has the numbers.
She's not relatable. No one likes her. Like you can't market Kamala.
Wait. So
nobody likes Kamala.
Before we go, people do like Kamala.
Who? The AKAs? That's not enough. That's not enough.
Time out. So before we get too far, right? Newsweek did an article that said between February and June, backing for Biden in the black community went from 50% to 65%. And it said that that black people are actually becoming more energized to vote for Joe Biden now than before.
Because you don't got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like,
I'm just saying, like, I hear you. And again, like, there are, I mean, I guess that's the
Black
question.
people are 13%.
Miracle.
If that.
The question right now is, again, right now the question is, what do Democrats do? Because it doesn't look like Biden is up for this moment right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just, every time I see him with another interview, I'm like, damn, they're going to roll this man. And you know he's going to have a gaffe. Because he's 81 years old. He already wasn't that great of a debater, interviewer, whatever. So the question is, what do Democrats do now? So do we, Kamala, who has supporters, like you said, you might personally not like Kamala. Kamala has supporters. She is vice president. But I'm saying, wait.
Where are her supporters?
Let me just roll out. According to, supposedly she was polling recently higher than Biden against Trump.
But that's not hard to do.
I'm just saying. So like it could look a certain way if you say we're going to skip over this black woman vice president and bring this white guy in. You know what I'm saying?
It looks American is what it looks like.
Of course, it could look a certain way. I agree with Miracle in the sense, personally, I think Josh Shapiro is the best candidate.
I agree.
Personally, I also believe that after all of this right now, because like when Trump gets shot, right?
Shot at.
Now,
he ain't earned them stripes yet.
We all been shot out. I've been shot out before. Listen, it's fine.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well,
So
no,
look.
I was the victim. I can say I got shot out.
So look, now, now Trump's speech at the RNC becomes must-watch TV.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody's
absolutely.
tuning in to the RNC. Everybody wants to watch because, he comes out, he has the patch on his ear, right? It becomes like, oh, we have to see it. What
is he going to come out with the patch on his ear?
What is he going to come?
Like Slick Rick
Probably
with
not.
the iPad?
Probably not. I don't know.
Because that would make him look weak.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would
Probably
make him
not.
look weak.
So like now, what do the Democrats do? And if you want to,
Did they actually shoot Joe on stage?
Well, I mean, the only thing I'm gonna be honest. Okay, and I'm not saying I want to say.
But what if he brought back Corn Pop and he deaf on stuff?
I want to preface this right to say like I don't want this to happen. Okay, the only way Joe can actually top,
Trump.
Oh, right, what happened to Trump? So the only way that Joe could top, like what could President Biden do to top?
I'm saying he ain't go
Trump. The only thing he can do to top Trump is if he were to pass away. You know what I'm saying?
My mind was going. Yours is going.
Stop. Okay. If President Biden were to pass away, that would, because then we have a sitting president.
So he gets his vengeance from the grave?
No. What I'm saying is, right now, like you said, everything is like attention. Right?
Yeah.
Right now.
So the best thing Joe Biden can do is die.
What I'm more worried about is there was
That's how bad his campaign is. The best thing he can do is either drop out or drop dead.
There was a story about.
But wait, look, before you go, because look, then it's a funeral. The funeral is a major event.
He planning a funeral. My man is planning a bloody funeral already. The nigga ain't even dead yet, and he's planning funeral arrangements.
Damn.
Who's singing Amazing Grace, Jasiri? Is it Kamala? Is she
Jennifer
singing Amazing
Hudson.
Grace?
Beyonce singing. Hey, bro, this thing would be incredible. It would be incredible.
Who's the pallbearers? Hillary?
All of the former presidents? Hey, bro.
Barack, Hillary,
that's what I'm
Jimmy
saying.
Carter, George Bush, Bill Clinton.
This would be, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and again,
oh my God.
This season of America, we might actually, like, again, who knows? But I'm saying, like, right now.
Oh, I put a muscle on my neck from laughing.
I don't.
He gonna cut you out like he tried to come for like.
I don't want to see this happen, but I'm just saying, like,
bro, I'm sweating right now.
I'm sweating too. I'm really excited. It's like, what else can happen? You had a story, Miracle.
There was a report that allegedly somebody, a sailor or something, tried to hack his medical records to prove that he.
Oh yes.
There's the unstamped, whatever. The rumor is that he has either Parkinson's or dementia.
Right.
It's a rumor.
That's a rumor.
I don't think that's a rumor. I just think it should have to be confirmed.
There's other illnesses that people could have. He could have long COVID, different things.
Yes.
But I also feel that somebody is probably going to leak information.
Yes.
Yeah.
That he is going to be unfit to serve. The issue
That's the HIPAA violation of the century.
Correct.
Right there.
The issue then becomes if he is someone who is suffering from an illness that could cloud his judgment, to which point did people know? And at what point do we have to start undoing some of his past rulings and executive orders? And that also is becoming a topic of conversation because America...
Or the 25th Amendment.
Yes.
If that comes to play... you can invoke the 25th Amendment and get him out of there as president.
And so
this is just like the boys.
It really is. In America, despite what happened on January 6th, has not had a coup, right? Yeah. And so I still think that in the history of most countries, there is always some type of coup or hostile takeover. Yeah. So America is still due for one if you study history. Right. And so I think this can start to become a major situation, especially if he has other issues, and to talk about what our reality is. I just don't see it for Joe. So I see people coalescing around Biden, not as the person, but just as the office and a candidate.
The antithesis to Donald Trump.
But I'm just saying, just because they need, this is the candidate, but we need all this down ballot support. Right. But my hope is that all of this constant asking to step aside, he actually listens and does it, because I do think that Trump and Vance are horrible for our future. But as someone pointed out, maybe we need the worst possible option for America, so that at the top of the hour, we stop pushing so much violence outward, because once we've experienced violence, maybe then that will push us to actually stop creating and exporting violence everywhere.
And what's interesting about J.D. Vance as the vice presidential nominee is he was somebody that was a Trump critic, a vocal Trump critic. He called Trump, he said Trump might be America's Hitler, right? Yeah. He called him a cynical asshole, noxious and reprehensible. But the best comment that he had, he called Donald Trump cultural heroin.
That's crazy.
Which is, to me, that is...
He insulted his way into the vice presidency.
But again, he then, bowed down. And obviously, you're not going to become vice president unless you bow down to Trump.
Yeah,
but
gotta bend the knee, bro.
Right, but he's somebody that is smart and articulate. And so he's not a Vivek. He's not one of these just empty suits of Tim Scott, right? Who was roar, at the RNC. He's somebody that is a senator. You know what I'm saying? And also, although Tim Scott's a senator too, but also can articulate
what's that say about
Trump's
the
vision. What vision? I mean, what position?
That J.D. Vance and Tim Scott are both senators.
I mean, again,
does that speak more about the position? Or
I think it speaks to where we are in the country right now. I mean, again, you have somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene is in Congress. I mean, Lauren Boebert is in Congress. I mean, it really speaks to where we are, and that we have been in this where it's not even political theater anymore. It's like political reality TV. Yeah. And so these kind of reality TV Congress people and senators that we have. And it's really kind of crazy to watch this thing unfold. And now we have a person running for president shot at. And now we have, again, you have Democrats still, I mean, think about it. We're still trying to figure out who's going to be at the top of the ticket, and is it going to go to the convention, and is it going to be Gavin Newsom, and is it going to be Shapiro, is it going to be Whitner, is it going to be Kamala, and then Biden is holding on, and he's doing interview after interview after interview, and every interview it's worse and worse and worse. It's not.
He's giving
not
a pound of flesh every interview. He's coming out a little bit more diminished every time you see him on camera.
And it's not that he hasn't had good answers, and some of it's that every time it's some type of gaffe, and that gaffe gets illuminated or brought out, it gets memed, right? It gets laughed at, it gets joked at, it gets played. The only thing I saw from that press conference was, VP Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Over and over
The
and
mistake.
over and
Yeah,
over
the
and
mistakes.
over again. And then it's like this man's old and we laugh at him. How can this be the guy that's going to take on Donald Trump, who just got shot at and screaming fight, fight, fight? It can't be him. I mean, somebody did. I did get a text message.
Even the Speedy interview, and I want to shout out to Speedy.
Yeah, shout out to Speedy.
Which was meant to be an easy rebrand for Biden. Created like the 3 worst clips.
Yes.
And not even.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
Not even that. People have to think about, and to be very transparent, I have turned down opportunities to create communications to go against Biden, right? I have.
No one's surprised.
You're so good at it, though.
Yeah.
You just come to our show and do it for free.
Yeah.
I have held a lot.
You just do it on
But
TV.
to sit there and be like, I am the person who's done the most for the Palestinian people.
Yeah.
Why would you say that? That is the
most what, Joe? The most damage?
15-second,
Yeah.
The most harm?
30-second clip.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you
Yes.
choke taking water when he brings up your age? Like, you look like you were like shocked and surprised.
Yeah.
And scared. Like,
Because he didn't know the answer.
It was supposed to be
How old am I again?
a real,
700?
It was only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And if Speedy could do that in only 20 minutes.
Right.
he was
Well, his
a
name is Speedy.
Speedy. and who's up and coming. What would you do if Lester Holt was actually someone
Yeah.
who wanted to bait and goad you into making you looking bad?
Yeah.
Because people forget
Yeah.
anger and aggressiveness is also a part of dementia.
gonna say, yeah.
And again, he may not have this illness.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to make sure you're not falling into these conspiratory conversations,
Right.
you cannot create that type of communication.
Right.
Nightmare for your staff and your people. And
Right.
again, I just
And this is the thing.
he said he was going to run for one term.
That's what he said.
He said that Trump was the existential threat to our democracy and our way of life, and that's why he was running. Trump technically winning and running again shows that he was not the person for that job the first time.
And also,
therefore, he cannot be the man for that job the second time because you've already failed once.
Yeah, he's been behind the popular vote by millions of votes.
You cannot risk the lives of millions of people because you believe that you are the white savior.
Yeah, some God-given.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's ego. Like, if people say it's not
Of course,
ego.
of course it is.
But I think
Of course
it
it
is because at some point you have to realize it can't be me. It
Yes.
should be me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not me, and that's okay.
Yes. And you're right. I mean, at this point, because what happens now, and this is the fear, what happens now if we get to the Democratic convention and then we get to the final speech, the Biden presidential speech, and it's similar to what happened at the debate.
Yeah.
And that speech is like a terrible, or he has a flub, or he makes a mistake, or something happens. He's put himself in a position where now every time he speaks, he has to be perfect, and he can't be perfect.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And so, like, at this point, like, if he can't talk, I mean, think about any race that you've ever seen. And when I say any race, I'm talking about like a school board, any political race. The person at least got to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Like, that's can they talk? Can they articulate their ideas in a way that we can understand and hear? And if he's running for president and can't do that, he has to step aside. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
The man has trouble walking and talking.
Literally.
And
Like, this is no
will not
hyperbole.
advocate for assistive devices.
Right,
That
right.
is the thing. Because again,
He can't go out there with a cane now.
Yes,
And
I
Trump
think
is
he
dodging
could.
bullets and throwing his fist up and screaming fight. And now you walking on stage with a cane? Like, come on, he can't
Yeah.
do
I
that.
think-
It's over.
Unless he came out in the chair Professor X did.
No, but I do. You got to think about COVID-19 almost tripled the amount of disabled people
Yes.
living in the United States. Again, I would say if he was staying in the race, he needs to lean into being disabled.
Did he ever admit that he had COVID, Biden?
He's had it a couple of times.
Is it?
Joe
Okay.
Biden
Yeah,
has had it.
so it's funny because the time has kind of flown by. So much that we have.
Even disability awareness.
Again, Miracle, that's not going to happen because the piece is he has to. And again, there's
too much ego that I'm a strong white man.
Right. But it's also the dichotomy.
Yeah.
Is that the president is supposed to be strong and provide leadership, and it's like you're not strong right now because you're not physically able, even just how he walks. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not physically able to do that. And so again, I just don't know where we also have, again, not only does Trump, survive a shooting, take an iconic photo. Are there more iconic photos? Yes. But this is an iconic photo.
He entered himself into the lottery of iconic photos.
People are getting it tattooed on their skin already.
Did you see the guy who said he had it the night before it happened?
Come on, man. So already this is gone, and now he's going to step out at the RNC and kind of pump his chest out, and now here's Biden. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just can't. If you're not going to make a move or make a decision now, then you gotta step away. Well, we are. It's like now we have to organize around Project 2025 and all of these different things. It's just, and then also Trump had his charges dropped. The charges around him doing the classified documents, stuffing them in the toilet, having them
and all this happened this weekend, right?
Yes. Yeah. And we've seen the pictures of the documents just all on his house. That got overturned. Yeah. And so now here's Trump coming out of this looking kind of like Teflon Don because he didn't get hit with the bullets. Now his charges are being dropped. They suspended. They're like, remember, we were supposed to find out in July.
Now I gotta wait till September.
Right. If he was gonna get, that we gotta wait till September. Do other charges get dropped now because he has presidential immunity? And so it's looking like things are tilting towards, it's looking like we gotta almost prepare more for like a possible Trump. Not that we're not going to, obviously we're going to work hard to make sure that we have a candidate that best represents ourselves, but it is wild right now.
Once that photo came up, I said, this is what he needed. He's won. Like to me, because like the moment when he ran the first time was when he made fun of the disabled person and had no ramifications. I was like, that's the next president. Like he's winning. There's no stopping him. And now after this photo, I'm like, he's winning again.
Did you want to read his statement that he put on Truth Social? Did you want to pull that statement up? Miracle. So in a perfect world, would it be Shapiro and Kamala as VP? Would it be Shapiro and Whitmer? Would it be Shapiro and Gavin Newsom, Buttigieg? Like, do you have a dream scenario?
I don't have a dream scenario. My preference would be like Shapiro and Castro.
Okay.
Josh Shapiro and Juan Castro. Mm-hmm. That would be like my thing. I think it's probably going to be like a Newsom Shapiro ticket.
Yes.
I don't know how it's going to play out. Because Biden did basically say the delegates could do their conscience. I know people have been reaching out to delegates to like save everybody.
Yes.
But we shall see. I think that I don't like any of the people running for office.
Do you believe, and Rolling Stone said, and then we'll go to you, Farouk. Trump says he's pivoting to unity after Miracle. He called his.
Don't be pointing at me. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
It's a miracle.
Right. So Trump said, it was a miracle that he survived and that he's going to, embrace. Okay. So you want to read.
Did you not see the RNC convention yesterday?
Yeah.
They were like death, murder. Mm-hmm. Like they were not.
Can you play that Tim Scott clip?
Oh my God.
That he said, and again, like a lot of what Trump does, it's not really who he is. His book, it's marketing.
Yeah.
Right? It's marketing.
1,000%. Yeah.
This is Tim Scott.
The devil came to Pennsylvania holding a rifle, but an American lion got back up on his feet and he roared.
The devil didn't come to Pennsylvania because that man was in Pennsylvania. That analogy doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he already was here.
Stop it.
This was Tim Scott's Howard Dean moment, man.
It definitely was.
Tim Scott talks like he wants slavery to come back.
I mean, they said it. They said like Jim Crow is better. We were better under Jim Crow.
Yep.
We was better when
him and Mark Robinson both, man.
Yeah.
Just idiots, foolish.
Okay, Trump's statement on Truth Social. What did Trump say?
As we move forward and uniting our nation after this horrific events on Saturday, they missed. This dismissal of lawless indictment in Florida should just be the first step, followed by quick dismissal of all the witch hunts, the January 6th hoax in Washington, D.C., the Manhattan DA zombie case, terrible people, terrible, terrible people, the New York AG scam, fake scams and claims about a woman that I never met, and I've met so many women, so many beautiful women. A decades-old photo in line with her and her husband doesn't count because he was a little man, insignificant man. Don't even remember him. And the Georgia Perfect phone call charges.
To
the Democrat. Are you gonna let me finish?
No, because you're getting on my nerves.
No, please finish. Please finish.
He doesn't even say that.
Again, he says most of it. It said the Democratic Justice Department coordinated all these political attacks, which are an election interference conspiracy against Joe Biden's political opponent. Me. Let us come together and end all weaponization of our justice system and make America great again.
So you don't understand the nuances of Trump. I thought because you write for him that you would know.
First of all, I don't write for him just because
I thought this came from. This looks like you wrote this.
He is your muse.
This looks like you wrote this, Miracle.
First of all,
I'm just adding in the improv where you left it out.
New York Times poll: do you think Joe Biden should remain a Democratic Party nominee in Pennsylvania? 48% of Democrats should remain. 46% say he should drop out. Independents, 68% say he should drop out. In Virginia, voters, 60% of Democrats say he should drop out. 60% of independents say he should drop out. I mean, again, I don't know.
You gotta go. Like, my thing is like, and granted, I know people don't see me as this great bastion of like, the Biden campaign. It is about your internal polling and your external polling.
Yeah.
The fact that you have one of the largest amounts of fundraising dollars that could go to complete winning the House and the Senate through down ballot races and helping the 50 states get more Democrats.
You're just starting to make sense now. Like that,
and you won't. It blows my mind. Like, bro, step aside. Redistribute all your wealth to Democrats across the country, particularly in the South. Prove that there is a Democratic strategy to win and get behind the next person. I know allegedly, like George Clooney came out. All these people have come out and been like, it's not him. It is not a conspiracy. Like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Biden messed up. And I think one of the things, and as someone who lives with a disability, one of the things you cannot control is how and when your body fails you. And you have to sit there and be like, I physically cannot do A, B, and C. And that's okay. Somebody else can. I think he is really having this thing where he's like, I'm the nominee, but you didn't win.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear. We did not have primaries. Stuff was shut down. The DNC told people they could not run, right? They picked, in a lot of places, him to win, so he didn't even have a competitive process. That's why you have people who have holes in their brains, literally, running and mobilizing for office. This is not okay. And I think that the fact, even in my home state of Georgia, and even here in Pennsylvania, people are spending millions of dollars, not to elect Trump, to make sure the Greens and Cornel West and other folks do not make the ballot, because they say if these people make the ballot, Biden cannot win. There's no path to victory for Biden if there are third parties on the ballot. If that's the case, baby, you got to step aside.
According to what the news, Cornel West is on the ballot in Pennsylvania, is on the ballot in Michigan.
I wrote him in.
Right. Cornel, that also I forget the other party.
Jill Stein is working.
Right, Claudia's party, supposedly they're on the ballot now in Pennsylvania. So it is all of these things. And so again, we're not trying to, this isn't the bash Biden, podcast. However, again, I think we're genuinely,
depending on who's listening. Some people
again, and nor is it the bash, because I did get a text message from a elder. and nor is it the bad seniors. You know, I kind of was like, we joke a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not being ageist. It's really like, and like now, like we're in fear that we could possibly see like a real dictatorship, like a Trump dictatorship, where he might never come out of this office. And what is it going to do to these rights, particularly if Project 2025 happens? Just to give an example of what Miracle said, it said, breaking in a stunning announcement, President Biden has announced that if he's reelected, he will cancel medical debt for millions of Americans. And somebody responded, quote, I promise to do as future president what I won't do as current president.
Right.
It's a hell of a statement.
Yeah.
You could do that right now. And
man.
so that's again, it doesn't mean like if he stepped aside, he can still campaign.
Yeah.
He's still president. He could still do all these things.
Yes.
He could do all these things with less stress. Right. He doesn't have to be forced to be perfect in every interview. Let this man rest. You know what I'm saying? Let this man rest. With that being said, our white pages today is madness. How befitting. Madness is the name of our white pages. Race and Insanity in a Jim Crow Asylum. Antonia Hilton is the book. Clint Smith said a book that left me breathless, but it's madness happening right now.
I just thought of because I'm scrolling down Twitter and I see Amber Rose with the MAGA hat on.
Yeah.
What if this is just her attempt to get back with Kanye? Like, what if this is her story arc?
You know, that is kind of fascinating.
This brings her back to
If Donald Trump brought them back together,
that would be
again,
crazy.
That would be
MAGA marriage.
Oh wow, you know
A MAGA.
But to call like Amber Rose like a rapper and
It's
influencer,
crazy.
And come on, yeah. And again, like if
She
the best
do be rapping though.
does she?
Yeah, she do.
She has
be dropping songs.
she has rap
We
songs.
don't listen to it.
Oh, well, I had
She
no
be dropping
idea.
music, yeah.
I had no idea. I was today.
I just remember
years
when
old.
like Joy Reid like destroyed her.
I'm just saying, it's like if your DEI is
Amber Rose DEI?
Amber Rose. If that's what I'm saying.
I
If
mean,
this is
technically,
your-
she's a white woman, so affirmative action. You know
But I'm
what I mean?
saying, if this is your like appeal to the young people, is like Amber Rose.
Who no
that's-
one cares about.
No, not only that, but that is like whoever thought about Amber Rose for anything in terms of like some type of political intellect, acumen? We're not looking for Amber Rose to do. You had a comment?
Leave me out of this.
You had a comment about Amber
Leave
Rose?
me out of this.
So again, if
I'm hurt.
that's the best you can do to sway black people or voters, but again, and then Trump fell asleep. I mean,
What if she has a slut walk at the RNC?
I just want to point out, as
Yes.
someone who got her start in ballroom, who grew up around so many queer and trans people,
Yeah.
Yes.
for her to go to that convention and not advocate for their humanity, and to espouse transphobia and homophobia is an absolute disappointment. And I think everyone has the right to choose whatever political party speaks to them.
Yes.
What I do not understand is why you have to give up your values and your morals and your support in order to do so, instead of expanding what that political party is doing, right?
Yeah.
The Republicans are supposed to be a party of limited government and freedom. So the fact that she couldn't go up there and talk about our slut walk and the freedom of women to exist and the freedom of women to be, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm at with the situation.
Right.
Again, I want everybody to get their coin.
Yeah.
Do whatever you got to
Get your
do,
dollars.
but I just feel like there is a way to better support and advocate, even if you have divergent political thoughts than what was done.
right. And politically, particularly if Project 2025 is saying like we're going to ban any type of contraception, any type, like particularly if that's and I wonder like when these rappers come out and endorse Trump, if they actually understand what the policies that Trump is actually putting forth, or are you caught up in like the celebrity of it or the attention in the moment?
And they probably got a bag to step up and say
course.
things. You know what I mean?
But,
So that's just.
but also, I think that's part of our role is to make sure. I think part of our role is to make sure that again, Democrats, you have power right now. You have the power of the presidency. You can can actually pass things right now that can benefit our community and our people, and that would actually make us want to do more in terms of helping keeping you in office, and to let people know, like, these are the plans that Trump plans to do. You know, the guy from the Heritage Foundation basically came out and said, of course, Trump, you know, it's smart for Trump not to embrace Project 2025, even though he's one of the architects of it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's trying to get elected. And so that's part of our role. That's part of what you're going to see us doing here in Pennsylvania. And if you want to support our role in that, you can go to onehood.org. You can get merchandise. You can give a donation. All those things can support to continue the work that we do to mobilize our community. With that being said, any final words, Miracle?
I was gonna be funny. Just believe in yourself. Keep going. A better world is possible.
Yes. No, and no political violence. Yes. From this day forward. Trouble?
If you're in the city, Fridays on Deck is happening this Friday.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Come through, get some free food, some ice cream, bring the kids. We got some activities for them. It's going to be a vibe.
It's going to be a vibe. Definitely Fridays on Deck this Friday. Farouk.
Protect yourself at all times.
Definitely protect yourself at all times. Be careful.
Niggas love safety.
Niggas love safety.
Protect yourself. Don't wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Protect your neck and your head, your shoulders, your knees, your toes, your ears, everything.
And also, like, prepare for anything. Like,
anything.
We're at a point in America's season.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
And what do we say? All general orders
in full effect. With that being said, this week in White Supremacy. Peace, y'all. One Hood.